DIY green screen paint. Is it just another DIY filmmaker's fantasy? Hello film worlders, it's me, your host Micah Pendleton, and welcome to Premiere Prep. And so yes, today we are talking about DIY green screen paint. And this right here is the paint that I got, which I will be using for this example. Now of course it can apply to many different kinds of store-bought paint, brands and everything like that, but specifically I'm going to be talking about this because this is what I found and looking around and everything to be the best option as far as DIY goes. Obviously, if you're going to be painting your own green screen, if for a professional, a lot of times they go with the high-end things like Roscoe paint. But that's what we're talking about today, is because this stuff is like 25 bucks a can versus $80 for some of that expensive stuff. So yeah, let's go ahead and get on into it. We're going to be talking about color picking, what finish you need to get, what brand is better, and things like that. How many coats you need to do. So let's just jump right into it. The green screen I've been using since the beginning of season 3 has been painted using this DIY option. And I've made many different little videos with it. For instance, the pros and cons video, which was kind of fun to do, and I think you guys enjoyed it as well. It's been very good and very bad. So let's talk about what was good about it. Now here's the paint I've been using. It's a very simple flat base paint with a green color. Choosing the correct color is very important. Now of course there's actually a wide spectrum of greens you could technically use and still get a good key off of. Now what I went for was kind of the truest looking green I could find. It's this one right here. I went and I found it at Lowe's, and it's really a fantastic green for a green screen itself. Now I've seen many who have gone for a much brighter shade of green, and some who have gone for even a little bit darker shade of green. But I found this to be a very good, just straightforward green color. In fact, the name of it is simply green if you're going to go and try to find it yourself. It's really a great color, I think, for a DIY green screen. And the paint itself is a simple flat interior paint. Of course it's a white base, and it's a paint and primer in one. That way it's really good, so you don't have to prime and then paint and all that kind of stuff. Even though priming can be good, it's really kind of nice just to be able to slap on the paint. Alright, there's really not much to it. You're just going to go to the hardware store, get yourself a flat paint with the correct color, and you're pretty much good. Now something great about having this paint in a gallon is the fact that you can paint anything with it. It doesn't have to be a flat wall or surface or anything like that. For instance, I could take something like this stool right here, I could paint the whole thing green, and there you go, I've got a perfect green screen capable set piece that can then be used for adding CG elements later and things of that nature. Alright, now let's talk about the green screen itself after it's been applied to a wall. Now here is the green screen itself. This actually took about 3 or 4 coats to get it as thick as I wanted. And that's really because of the brand I chose. It wasn't necessarily the best, known for being the best covering brand out there. But after I got it on, I'm pretty satisfied. It's relatively flat, not really as flat as I would like it. It's still a little more glossy than it really should be. It's a flat paint, but you can get flatter called chalkboard paint or whatever, and I've seen some of that, but it's really hard to find and it's really kind of expensive, and I'm really not even sure if that would have been the best thing, because I think it is really just made for chalkboards, but it may actually work if you get it colored correctly for a green screen. So that's something to look into as well. But this is not too bad. Now as you can see right here, we got a bit of a hot spot. I feel like a meteorologist right now. Alright, but we got a bit of a hot spot right here. I got the light, directly on it, and this has been my biggest problem with this so far, is wherever the lights are directly shining on it, you get some hot spotting. Now this is typical with a lot of green screens, be it DIY or not. But this one especially does have a bit of a hot spot problem. But it can be worked around. Pull the lights a little bit further back, try to get some more light, further out, fill the entire area, and not have it shining directly where you're going to have your subject or your object. All right, but besides hot spotting, there isn't a huge problem with this at all. In fact, pull this back here. Now if I do a little bit of a key, you can see not too bad. Still got the hot spotting going on, and this is not even a really ridiculously good example. If you would like to see me actually green screening with this for real, definitely check out this episode from our beginner's guide to using Blender for visual effects. In that one, I actually showed how to green screen, and I used this green screen as well, and I made sure that I lit it all properly. Now, lighting is not something we're going to be going into because that is not this episode. But yeah, I mean, so really, it's not that bad. It's very pleasing to me. It's better than I thought it would be. I was a little nervous at first. And when I first painted it, of course, it did take several coats, but afterwards, it's really kind of satisfying. And I know I'm kind of repeating myself a little bit more than I should be, but it's not too bad. I've even painted the electrical outlet with the same paint, and that keys out pretty well as well. So again, you can paint objects with this and have them keyed out. Definitely something to keep in mind, especially if you're trying to do a lot of interactive CG environments. That pretty much does it as far as the green screen itself goes. And again, if you would like to see me actually green screening with this, definitely check out the beginner's guide to using Blender for visual effects green screening episode, which I linked to before and you can find in the description. That will be a really good reference for you. But all in all, DIY green screen paint is a plausible and quite frankly possible thing to do. Very soon, me and my local film group will be doing some projects that will be requiring green screening, and this will be an option that we will definitely be exploring and or using. And if we need any props that need to be painted green, we will definitely be using this as well. And this won't necessarily be the only mode of green screening. Like I talked about before, we could very possibly need to use a cloth green screen mixed with this as well. So it's not like I'm showing this to you guys and I haven't really even used it myself. I've been using this for quite a while and been getting some good experience on it. And I can just tell you this, it's not a bad way to go. And for any of you out there who are just YouTubers, this is almost an unbeatable option. For $25 to $30, you get a permanent painted green screen. So as you can see from this shot, which I used for the beginner's guide to using Blender for visual effects, that you can really get a pretty good looking key. Now as you can see also, there is a lot of hot spotting here and you have to work around that, but quite frankly, it's workable. And using this green screen is not just a can I kind of scratch by using it sort of thing. It's actually usable. So things to keep in mind as you go out to buy your green screen. It needs to be a good flat paint, preferably a good brand, and it needs to be the proper color for sure. The color is very important. You don't want something too off green or too drastically dark green, otherwise things will key out that you don't want to key out, or the green screen itself won't key out. It can be a pretty big nightmare. So you want to get a good contrasting color green, and this is pretty well that. Definitely not a bad option. So definitely go do some shopping around, try to find the best color that you can. This right here is one of my cloth green screens that I actually got from tubetape.net. That's what they were formerly called, now they're greenscreensystems.com. Definitely check them out. Fantastic products and fantastic prices. Honestly, if you're doing something inside, paint is really a great way to go. If you're going outside, I would definitely go with a cloth green screen, especially with how much this can tend to reflect and everything. This doesn't reflect so much. So this is definitely good for outside options. Now to answer the question, is DIY green screen paint something that you can actually do and have it work well? My personal answer is yes. So there you have it, and as you can see, DIY green screen paint is really not that bad of an option. It can definitely save you a lot of money, and you really can get a pretty good key off of it. Now, it may not be the best option, and maybe not even the best material. A cloth green screen may do better for you, especially if you're on location or something of that nature. And it's also really good for painting props and things like that. Okay, so that pretty much closes this episode, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Some big changes are coming to Film World, and an announcement video is coming for that very soon. Make sure you stay tuned for that. Thank you guys very much for watching. Good to be back with the rest of Season 3. You guys have been great. Thank you very much. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm your host, Micah Pendleton. Remember, dream big, pay small. I'll catch you next time.